Chef Danielle, and this is
Waleed Coat.
And he and I are connected through social media, and I always interview people that I find interesting, and I want others to know about. Like, he's the guy you want to know, the guy you want to know and go to. He has an interesting platform on Instagram. I came across him. Somebody promoted your cleaning business.
Yep, the soapbox. Yep.
Yes, the soapbox. And tell people about your soapbox.
So first of all, thanks for having me, Danielle.
You're welcome.
Awesome, and it was always great connecting with you, and then seeing you in the neighborhood, and then bumping into you in the supermarket, and
yes.
Spike Lee's event, the street fair. So we have the soapbox, which is pickup and delivery, dry cleaning and laundry service.
Right.
So we have a mobile app that you use, place an order. One of our team members show up at your house, pick everything up, clean it, wrap it up, make it nice and fresh, and then deliver it right back to your door. Or you can just bring it to our store and drop it off yourself. So we've been doing it. We've been in the community for over like 20 years.
Okay.
But we started as a traditional laundromat, and then we opened up a second location and then made the soapbox just for that laundry and dry cleaning service.
See, I was telling my daughter that just this morning. She was like, she was asking me who I was interviewing, and I was telling her about your business, and she was like, really? And I said, yeah, you should, definitely, she should definitely connect to you on social media. And because not only are you an entrepreneur, to me, you're like a motivator. You're like this motivational speaker. Like, if anybody knows Gary Vee, he's like the Black Gary Vee.
That's a big title.
Yeah. You got some. You're actually. To me, you already have that title.
Thank you.
Because you are very motivating, and I can connect with you because we're, you and I are both entrepreneurs, and you're just telling things, just laying it out, just like how it is.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't, like, people say these motivators, and I kind of feel like honored, and then at the same time I just feel like a little sticky,
like I don't want that responsibility, but
not even the responsibility. It's kind of like, because you go online sometimes and you feel like they're trying to sell you something or always give you something, and I'm totally flattered. Like, people DM me or send me a message or just tell me if I see them, and they're like, what you said was motivational or inspirational. And it all started, like, I just wanted to tell a story. And I say we because, I have a team. Two of our team members are here with us now, Juan and Espinoza. And we have two more team members. And the goal is, we just really wanted to tell the true story. Because you and I both know, when you look online or you hear people telling these stories, they only tell the stories that entrepreneurs are like, oh, they started and like they were in a closet somewhere with $3, and then now they have $100 million business. And we know that's not like the average small business owner or medium-sized business owner. That's not the story for them. It's a constant, struggle, like day in and day out. You have your ups and you have your downs, but we just wanted to tell our story so people in business could relate, like yourself, and just share like what's working and what's not working, and then how do we all connect and help each other grow at the same time.
Yeah, it's just a common thread that ties us all together. And the thing I like about you is you are very authentic and transparent, and that's important. Again, you don't want to seem like you're selling something.
Absolutely.
Just for $49.99. How many times have we seen that? It's like we're now living in the era where everyone is selling the things the knowledge that they've gained.
Yep.
They're now selling it.
It's true. And we just want to be, and it's not purposely, I just want to be the opposite of that, because at the end of the day, it's not how much money we make, it's how we make our money. And that's really important to me. And the business is one thing. So I build the business, we clean laundry, we have a security company, we do that too.
Right.
That's how we make our money. What we're doing on social media and connecting with people is just something we're doing, like, out of our heart, because a lot of my friends, they're in the business. You know,
right.
They have small businesses. So
absolutely.
It's just a story that we live every day.
Yeah, and you you tell these stories so well. It's like, you know, and use all the video platform that you use is just like, and I just be like, when I click play, it's like I'm enthralled. I'm like, what is he gonna say now? Like,
listen, sometimes like
you don't even know what you're gonna say.
Like honestly, it's so authentic. I have no idea. Like sometimes they have to edit it out. Like, you know, a couple F-bombs might come out every now and then. Yeah. I get a little.
But that's what makes you, to me, authentic. Cause it's like, if that's what it is, and you know, if it offends you, then, you know, sorry, but that's just, you know, you're being your authentic true self. And I look forward to those F-bombs, to be perfectly honest. I'm like, hey, come on, just one more.
Don't encourage me with the guys will tell you, don't encourage me in the office. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah, and I admire the fact that you are out there and you've been in the community and you're not just in the community to make money. You're in the community to make a difference.
Absolutely. You know,
and
that's very important, you know, to myself and everyone that works with us.
Right.
And like we had a conversation, and it probably show up in one of the segments coming up. Because we just started doing this new podcast and we were talking about it. People will talk about their business and they're like, oh, you know, how much money did you gross? Or, you know, how much money did your business make? Right. And people use that kind of as the indicator to measure, I guess, their success or maybe to brag or boast. And that's the thing. I don't knock it.
Right.
But for me, what really gives me that high or, you know, that sense of like I'm kind of humble bragging is when I can talk about how many team members we have. Because at the end of the day, I love putting people to work.
Yeah.
So if I have 200 people working with us, to me, that's greater than me walking in the door and saying, oh yeah, you know, we did
$200 million.
Right. You know, we made 200 million or we did 20 million last year. I'm like, I put 200 people with gainful employment. And then people get it twisted because it's not 200 people that I'm affecting that work with us. It's 200. How many people are all those people connect to? Like, do they have kids, married? That's it. And like, I can't tell you how much. Like, we talk about that, and we talk about the team members. And that's the thing that really gets me high and gets me going. And a lot of the people who work for us, like, I probably say 80 to 85% of our team members are all from the communities in which our businesses are based in. So, you know, one of our businesses is based in right here in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy, and then our other businesses in the Bronx right near Yankee Stadium. Mm-hmm. And majority of our team members come from the surrounding areas.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great.
That's really great. So let's talk about the oh my God, Stuy Spend.
Yes.
That's an app that you have. So just talk about that, because I'm like, yeah, so what is it? Like, you know, what is it? But, you know, I know about it a little bit.
Right. So first of all, full disclosure, I get no credit for stipend whatsoever. So Andre.
Did you create it or
no.
you use it?
Right. We use it.
Okay.
And we're investors in it.
Oh.
So Andre Powers is one of the co-founders of the app. I met Andre maybe, I don't know, it seems like forever now, but I want to say maybe 3 years ago, and I'm probably screwing up the timeline there. But Andre created it for local businesses. He started in Bed-Stuy. Mm-hmm. And what it is are you familiar with like Venmo, where you can or Cash App? Yeah. So he used that premise where it's peer-to-peer transaction, but instead of it being person-to-person like those apps, it's business to consumer. Mm. So what the business does is use stipend, the customer downloads the app, and you connect the app directly through your bank account. So like your debit card. So it's an ACH transaction. So there's no fees for the individual nor the business. So the business is able to save thousands of dollars on credit card processing fees, because now I use the app. You transfer the money from your account and it's all secure, you know, it's all encrypted. It goes directly from your account to the business's account, and the business pays 0 credit card fees for it, and there's no fees for the individual either. And then the app is connected to other local businesses. So if you have the stipend app, you just open it up and you can see all the businesses that use it. Mm. And then you get different rewards for using it. Every business has different rewards, like we get discounts. So at the Soapbox, you get a discount when you use it, when you prepay. And then after you use it so many times, you get I think we get $5 off your total order on the 10th time you use it at our store. And we've been using it ever since.
So it's like a payment avenue. It's like a payment avenue, and then it's also a loyalty type of.
Absolutely.
You can actually offer loyalty rewards to your customers.
So you can do it. It has the loyalty component as well as the payment.
See, I was kind of confused about it a little bit, but I was like, you know, I was interested in it, but I was like, you know, actually, I wanted to get more information about.
No, absolutely. Really, like you should definitely look into it because it's like there are some businesses that we've talked to and Andre's talked with, and we've had some discussions, and they're spending like, depending on the type of business, anywhere from a couple thousand to tens of thousands of dollars a month in credit card fees. And I don't know what the exact stats are, so don't quote me on it. But I'm willing to bet the majority of consumers, when they pay for something, they use their debit card when they pay. But there's a few that use a credit card because they want to get the points, which I totally get. But how do you, if you can capture that whole population that's just using debit on the app, you don't pay any transaction fees. Because you do pay transaction fees for a debit card, which they're smaller for a business than they are for a credit card, but it's still a fee. So it's interesting. And then recently they released another component to it called, I think it's called bar mode or bar tab. Andre's gonna kill me when he sees this because I didn't get the name right. But basically, you know when you go to a bar all the time, you leave your credit. Well, I'm not trying to say you go to the bar all the time.
No.
But
I know what you mean. I know the purpose of it.
They leave the credit card with the bartender, and then when you close out your tab at the end of the night, you go get your card and sign it.
Right.
Well, there's a function in it just for bars where you go in with Stipend, you tell the bartender, you know, I'm using Stipend. They open up your tab, they scan it right with Stipend. And then while you're ordering you could order your drinks at the table, and every time they add another drink, you see it pop up in the phone.
Say what?
And then when you're ready to leave, you just walk out. Like you don't have to go back and get your card or, you know, settle everything up at the end of the night. You just do it right from the phone.
That's pretty cool. I think that component right there to be able to go out and not have to worry about, because we live in a time where, you know, people will steal your credit card number.
Right. Or you just forget it,
people have forgotten their credit card at an establishment.
Yeah.
You know, after a few drinks.
Listen, I've done it. I didn't forget it, but we had an event, and we were taking care of everyone's drinks that night, and I was like, just leave the company card, and I know the bartender, I know the person that owns the establishment, so I was like, I'll come back in the morning. But if it would have been somewhere else, I might have been like, no, I'm going to stay here all night and make sure, you know, I check everything. And then you got to check the receipt. But with Stipend, every time a drink hits, like I could have been sitting at home and people were ordering drinks and I'd be like, oh, yeah, no problem, approved. Right. So it's awesome.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So, and we use it 100% at the Soapbox all the time. So we welcome our clients to use it whenever they come. Now we're just trying to figure out some of the technical parts of it. How do we use it with our pickup and delivery service next? Yeah, which would be great.
Cool. If you had $1 million, what would you do?
Ooh.
I just like throwing stuff out there, you know.
Ooh, I would do a couple things. The first thing I would do is the first thing I would do is start a micro lending component for small businesses. I'm 100%.
Shut up.
And then I would obviously take some of it and then put it back into our business to grow it. But that would be one of the first things I do because I listen to so many business owners that they just need sometimes just this little bit of capital to get over this little bump in the road. Yeah. And you know how it is. It's hard. When you reach a certain level, they'll throw money at you. But when you're at another level, they want to scrutinize the heck out of you. Like they want a DNA sample, your fingerprints, bring me, you know, your firstborn child, whatever.
Lock of your hair.
Yeah.
They want to donate everything.
And then they're like, okay, we'll give you this at some high interest rate. So I would start some kind of program where a business could come and get like a micro loan. You know, what the dollar amount be, I would have no clue. But somewhere in a category that they would get that capital, whether it's capital to front inventory because they have a huge event, or maybe they're a service business and the people provide the service, so they need to cover the payroll because they have a contract where they don't get paid for 30 days on it. But they got to pay everybody until they get that first payment. Absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely do something like that.
That's funny because that's definitely what I want to do. That's one of the things that I want to do is because I just went through the loan process and it was exhausting.
It's brutal.
It was really brutal, and I thank God that I got through it with all my marbles. I think I might have lost some two of them. They might have rolled underneath the couch somewhere, but we are at a disadvantage as Black people in this process.
Right.
And because I'm such an advocate for community like itself, I'm definitely a community type of person that I am all for communing and being a part of the community and giving it, my all and try to, make it a positive environment for my family and other families as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't want anybody to go through that process. That process was hard. Like, my daughter's wants to start a business. My son wants to start a business. And I'm like, I would hate for them to have to go through that process. And that it was rough. Yeah,
but at the same time, it's rough. And like, I've been through it several times. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think it's a good experience.
Absolutely.
Because what we're doing is supposed to be hard.
Absolutely.
And if we don't need to date ourselves, but we both know there was a point in time when being an entrepreneur was not as cool as it is. It wasn't cool at all. No. I remember when I was younger, my mother was a public school teacher, and my dad, he's a real estate investor, and he had the laundry business till he retired. And then we had a supermarket also. And I would go to school and people were like, oh, what do your parents do? And, that was like, there was always a question, what do your parents do?
Absolutely.
And I was like, oh, my mother's a school teacher. And I would just leave it at that. And they'd be like, what does your dad do? And I was like, oh, my dad, he's self-employed. He's an entrepreneur. And they'd be like, what? Like, you should go get a job at some big company or the city or the state.
Punch in and punch out.
And then do your whatever 30 years or 35 years and retire. It was like, you were ashamed to say, you wouldn't tell somebody you work. The running joke was if you told somebody, my wife's dad, his running joke was, you'd be like, oh, I'm a consultant. He'd be like, yeah, you're a mofo without a job if you're a consultant. But now it's like, I'm an entrepreneur. Everybody's got it in their profile.
Absolutely.
But what gets me is you see it in their profiles. You always see these great pictures. They're on the beach, they're doing whatever, but you don't see the pictures or the videos of them behind the scenes struggling. Or the days you're at home crying because you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make payroll next week? Or my team laughs at me and I'm like, there are many days where I eat ramen noodles or whatever so everybody checks clear. We just joked 2 weeks ago, Jess and I were in the supermarket and I was like, spaghetti's on sale for 99 cents a box.
Right.
Buy the whole rack.
Right. Because we're going to need this.
Right. I'm going to eat that and then take the money from the business and invest it back
into the business.
Versus buying whatever.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's tough.
How hard was it to build a team?
It was which team? Let's start with that. Because we, internally having a team that runs the business, and then now I have, our media team that does all of the content for myself as well as our brands. So one was really hard and one was easy. And I think one was easy because I got extremely lucky, but I truly believe the harder you work, the luckier you get. So if I talk about our media team, the first time I decided...
Is that the hard or the easiest part?
This is the easy one. But it was easy when I got the team members, but what we do is really hard. Doing social media is another job.
Bro, you preach to the choir. I get it.
I don't care how many people you have. At the end of the day, the team is they're great, they're eager, they do a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm the bottleneck because everything goes through me or I'm the focus of the content. So if I'm stuck in a meeting, they can't film that meeting. Or they can film me, but they can't record anything. So they're like, I don't have any good content. And I understand, they get upset. Right. So hiring that team, I got extremely lucky. The first team member I hired was Juan, who's with us today. And I finally convinced myself, and let's be clear, I was totally anti-social media. Whenever the soapbox opened, which was into 2016, I was like, I'm only using social media for businesses. I'm not doing anything. I was like, Facebook, whatever. I knew it was important, but it was not my thing. And then one day I just broke, and I was like doing Instagram for the soapbox. And when people started sending me DMs at 12:30, 1 a.m. and was like, come pick up my laundry, I was like, there's something to this social media thing. And I was like,
they were DMing you for what?
To come pick up their clothes to clean.
Oh, to clean them.
It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. They're like, come get my clothes. And I'm just like, what? So I was like, this thing has, something to it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, we need to commit. So I started doing it myself, and I put an ad up. One responded to the ad, and a couple other people. He came for the interview. We interviewed in a cafe, McDonough Cafe, right on Saratoga Avenue, in the corner of McDonough. We sat in there for 2 hours, I think. And we were talking about ideas. He was drawing stuff out. Was like, we could do this. And I was just like, I'm going to hire this guy.
Yeah, he's creating a mood board already. Right out the gate.
I had some other interviews. Like, a couple of them was like, oh, can I reschedule? I was like, nah, don't even come. I was like, the position is filled.
Yeah.
And when he started, it kind of just took off from there. One of his friends, we ended up hiring one of his friends. We actually hired two of his friends, because we hired Miss AJ also, then we hired John. Then we put up another ad, and then we picked up Espinoza, and then we also picked up another team member, Hamlet. So it's been really interesting. But we've been good, because they all got along well. It was a good fit. And they all have the same, creative, motivation, and they're really dedicated into what they do.
Okay.
But now you talk about the teams at the soapbox or at Johnson Security, it's a challenge. Because we need, for this team, it was good because the creativity was there, and everybody had the same motivation. Like, they were really into energy. Yeah. And now, don't get me wrong, we interviewed some other people that we liked, but I was like, what we focused on the most is, would we all get along? Like, people showed us their skills. Like they could clearly make videos. Right. There was no question about that, because we could look at it and be like, show me what you did. Or we would say, take these pieces of content home, make it, and send it to us. Now, they could have got their friend or somebody to do it in live. Right. Which would have been awesome. And then they figured it out later on. I would have given them total credit for that. Right. But our biggest thing was, are we all going to like each other? But with our other businesses, it's a little... It's just important. It's like, it makes life so much easier. It's a little trickier because in our security business, we have people out in the field. So they're not interacting with us every day. So it's constantly... The way I tell the team is, hiring is guessing, firing is knowing. So go with your gut. You meet someone, you think they're a good fit, they have the whatever credentials you need, or they have the qualification, hire them. And then watch and see what they do. And like 3-4 weeks in, if they're not a good fit, just have that conversation and see, can you help them get better? And if not, say, this is not a good fit. How can I help you get a job maybe somewhere else? Or this is just not for you. Or maybe they're just in the wrong seat on your bus. So you need to not let them work the front desk. Right. They need to work the loading dock, because they don't have the personality for the front desk, but they're great for the loading dock. Right. Yeah, so that was like the long version answer I gave you for it.
Oh, that's okay.
It's what we do.
Okay. So the security company. I didn't even know you had a security company. What kind of security do you provide? Like security guards?
Yeah, security guards. So like, you go to a residential building or office building, someone's at the front desk, like issuing you an ID badge and signing you in, signing you out. Oh. Those are our people. Oh. We do mostly like concierge type customer service. We're not doing any like super like chasing bad guys type security. No, right. That's not us. It's the concierge customer service type thing. And what's interesting is because that business was started by Jess's grandparents, so it's third generation. Okay. So
Jess is your wife.
Yes. Okay. So her grandfather and grandmother started it.
Oh, so she comes from a line of entrepreneurs as well.
She does, but she wasn't originally in the business. Oh. She would work there when she was younger, in and out. But originally she had moved out of state and was living in she was living in Texas. Oh. And then her dad was running the business, but he got ill. Oh. And then he ended up passing away, and she took over the business immediately. Wow. But it goes back to, what we talked about earlier. Her biggest focus was, when they had to make the decision, they had offers to sell the business, or do they keep running it? It was her and her brother at that time. And the biggest focus was, these team members who work for the company, if we stop today or we sell it, how does it impact their families? Because it's not just them that's going to lose a job. It's they have to pay bills, they have to feed their family. So that was one of the biggest drivers where it was like, we're not selling. She quit her job and she lived in Texas and she relocated back to New York. And the story is like, it's crazy, but she, like they had the services on a Wednesday, buried them on Thursday, and payroll was Friday. So she did all that, made sure the company made payroll, and then been running it ever since. It's been like, I don't know, 10, 11 years we've been doing it.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely can attest to that. No matter what, business has to go on. It has to run.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when my mom passed away and being at the repast and getting a call about catering, and I just had to step out and like, okay, get my pocketbook, get my pen, get my, you know, and I have to write everything and you know.
And you have to flip that switch. Like you're in a very emotional place right then and there, and then you're like, oh, it's a client. So now you have to flip the switch and go totally business.
Absolutely.
And just people, like, it goes back to what we were saying before, people don't realize like what goes into being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like they just look at, oh, it's all fun, like you make a lot of money and you get to make your own rules and your own hours. But it's not true. Like my phone rings 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because one of our businesses runs 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, the security.
Yeah, so we have some sites that we do office and residential buildings, construction sites. Somebody is there 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if something goes wrong at 3 a.m., they're calling me and I have to answer.
Yeah, it's. But the thing, and another myth is that people think that because you're an entrepreneur, you're making all this money, and everybody says that. Like yesterday, somebody through my website, they placed an order. I was ecstatic. Like I was like, oh, okay, so you know, but it's like those little small moments. You're like, you don't take them for granted because there are so many moments where there's nothing happening. Like it's dry.
Right. It's you ever see that cartoon or those drawings where it says it shows someone like digging and then they quit, but then they show another one where the person is like just about to break through and there's like a bunch of gold or diamonds on the other side.
Yeah.
But that's not really how it is. Right. Like entrepreneurs, you do something and then you get a little sale here. And then you go on a little bit harder, you keep struggling, and then a bigger sale comes along.
Right.
Then nothing happens, and then a little sale comes. And then over time, it adds up.
Right.
And then you keep building that momentum.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that you can actually do is just keep moving.
Right.
You know, you got to keep going and keep moving. And, you know, again, it goes back to what I was saying. You know, you have all these people that are selling these, like, oh, yeah, this is what entrepreneur is. And you could, we made 6 figures, and sometimes a lot of these people don't even have 6 figures.
Or they're making 6 figures, but they're making the 6 figures off what they're selling. But are they making the 6 figures off the business that they're saying they did before they sold? They started selling this package or this program.
Yeah, it's not. And that's where I have a problem with the deception.
Right.
Because how they're laying it on the table is not really what it is. They're you know, being deceptive, but everybody's like selling you something to, you know, a kit to make money, like, you know, and it's,
that's their thing.
And it's like, depending on what line of business you're in, you have to really roll up your sleeves and just dive in. You have to do it. And no matter, you know, what you, like you said, roll up your sleeves and do it. But to go back to, you know, a point you touched on earlier, how you said a sale comes in the website and you're like getting ecstatic. Yeah. But to me, that's what the real piece of being an entrepreneur is, because you love the process. So like a sale comes in and you get excited because it's the thrill, it's the excitement of what you're doing, not the money. Like, don't get me wrong, we need the money. But when in business, at the end of the day, the money is a byproduct. It's a tool. The money for me is just lubrication to keep the wheels going in my business. To pay people, to pay for supplies, to pay for the space. It's a tool to keep this whole thing going. But at the end of the day, what we really love is as an entrepreneur, process.
Is the process. Like
okay, what did I do to get that? So let me just do that and add on to it. And
exactly. Like you serve someone, you deliver the food for an event that you're catering. The money, yes, it pays the bill. You're doing it. I get it. But what the real excitement is, and I could be wrong, but I don't get that vibe from you at all, is when they consume your food, your product that you put out, and they're ecstatic and they're happy, or they leave you a review, or they go online and be like, I see your pictures on Instagram. Like, I want to lick the screen of my phone sometimes. I was like, is this real? Like, this looks so good. Like, so that's the joy, like to see the end result. Like, you took something in its rawest form, and then took it to this, and then someone gets really happy and pleased about it. To me, that's what really being an entrepreneur is, just that process from beginning to end. And I think for myself, not even I think, I know, more than likely, I self-sabotage myself, because when things get close to the end, I'm like, okay, what's the next thing? Because I want to start the process all over again, because I enjoy the journey of building it up. And my team will get, they go, you got 100 things going on at once. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're part of the team, so you can get it done, because I'm going to go do the next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I thought I was the only one like that. I like to have a lot of balls in the air. It's like a juggle, it's like a juggling act. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this event. Okay, and I'm about to start doing this. I say, I'm going to get fabric for aprons, and and I'm about to do this.
But if you do 10 things, maybe three of those balls fall on the floor, but the other 7 do well.
Absolutely,
that's what we do. People get hung up it's just do what you do, enjoy it, and along the way, if you enjoy it and it works out well, you'll make the money.
Yeah,
it's simple math for me.
When did that entrepreneurial bug bite you? When did you know that I'm gonna be an entrepreneur? When did that bug bite?
I can remember, and I can't even put an age on it, which I'm mad I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could go back. I wish we had, the internet in its form now when I was younger, because then I could go back and be like, remember when exactly?
Yeah.
But I want to say it's been, since day one, and which was great, because in my household, my mother was, straight public school teacher. It was the institution type thing. And then my dad was the entrepreneur, where it's I got to go work, 18 hours today because we need to get X done, or we got to figure this out.
Right.
But as far as I can think back, I remember when we were younger, I was in the front yard with a table. We would have a popcorn maker in the house, the air popper. We would dump the kernels in it. I would put it in Ziploc bags, and I would have some that had salt and butter, some that had no salt. And then my mother would make, she would just make this punch. It was ridiculously sweet. These days, you could not, I'm surprised I don't have diabetes or something. It was just you would finish drinking it, and you get to the bottom, you would just see sugar. I'd be like, pour that in my cup. But I would take that and pour it into these little cups, little solo cups, and sell it for 75 cents, $1 in the front yard. And I just have a picture of that. We would put signs up. I did that, and we were young. I would get my friends, the neighbors, they would come over. I'd be like, you stand at the table. I would make one friend go to the corner with a sign and hold it up so people knew to come to the yard. And then from there, kind of I can vividly remember my best friend and I were sitting in the yard one day, and we were we're going to have our own business, and we're going to wear suits to our business all the time, and we're going to sit in our offices looking high above. And I'm like, it ain't nothing like that now.
No, you'd be lucky if you listen. Where's my sweatpants? The comfortable ones that I really like to wear.
I'm suit. What? Let's just go. I got a meeting. Okay, I'll put a suit on there.
Right. Absolutely.
It's been since we were young, and we were always interested in it. But we did that, and it was fun, and we just enjoyed doing our own thing when we were just selling popcorn.
Yeah.
But I think when it really hit us was when we were I want to say junior high school, about to go to high school. I still can't remember exactly when. And we couldn't get a job one summer.
Really?
We applied at McDonald's, KFC, everywhere. And this was back in the day when you used to go to McDonald's and they give you the tray with the little paper on it, and the application was on the back. I just so dated myself. And we would fill those out and give it to the manager or whoever, and they would just be like, you're overqualified. And we were like, what do you mean we're overqualified? We've never worked anywhere. And they were like, we can't hire you. So we got discouraged, and then we came home. My mother was like, just make your own job. And we were just like, yeah, whatever. And we just sat in the yard. and there was this elderly lady who lived across the street named Miss Henry. I will never forget Miss Henry. We were all scared of her because we would play football on the street, and the ball would go in her yard. And the rumor was like Miss Henry would get your ball, she would cut it and like throw it, like don't go in her yard. She would chase you with her cane. Like we were all scared of her.
I think everybody back in the day
every neighborhood
had a Miss Henry.
Yeah.
And in my neighborhood, it was like a Miss Mary.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yo, it was we had like her apartment was a haunted house. We had like
that's how we were. We were like, and she lived in this whole like 3-story brownstone. I almost thought she lived there by herself, and we were just like, what is she doing there? Like everybody, she come out in the yard, and like when she come outside, even if you were outside yelling and playing and running around, it would just get quiet for a second because you're like, oh shoot, Miss Henry's outside.
Yeah.
But this one day, the two of us were sitting there, Barry and I, we were just talking, and I don't know what we were doing, just doing kid stuff. And she saw us and was like, you two come here. And we were just like, oh God, snap. Like, she's going to drag us in the house and like, Hansel and Gretel threw us in the oven.
We're going to be a milk carton.
What did we do? Like, so we went over there and she was like, I want you two to come inside my house. I want you to do something for me. We looked at each other and was just like, what the hell? Like, we got nothing else to do. So we went inside. She took us in her backyard. And she was like, see this stuff? Put it in bags and then clean it up for me. And we were just like, okay. Like, we were so relieved, like, we didn't get killed. We didn't get killed or she shackled us up in her basement. It's like, oh, like,
starve you.
And like, when we were in the house, we were like looking all around, like, you know, what's really in here? Because nobody had ever been in Miss Henry's house. We cleaned up the stuff in the backyard. It was hardly anything, Danielle. It was just like some leaves we swept up and put in a bag. She was like, cut this bush or something. We cut it.
Aww.
We threw it in the bag, and then we were like, she was like, okay, like, you know, just throw the bags over there. We were like, okay, we took the bags, put it out. And I want to say she gave us some obscene amount of money. I want to say she gave us maybe like $50, $80 or something like that. I can't remember. And we were in a house maybe, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour tops. And she was like, here. And we were like, you know, at first we were like, no, you don't have to pay us. And she was like, take it. And I was like, okay, take it. Then we didn't see how much until we got outside. And then Barry and I looked at each other and was like, wait a minute. We worked for like maybe 30, 40 minutes and she gave us like $50, $80. And back then, minimum wage was, I have no idea.
Right.
It was like some obscenely low number.
Oh, yeah.
Probably like, I don't know, $5, right? And we were like, wait a minute. We didn't even work 1 hour and we made this much money?
Right.
And if we had a job there, and they were paying minimum wage when we applied, we would have to work, you know, 8 hours would have been $45, let's say, with minimum wage of $5 then. I have no idea. We were like, wait a minute, there's something, you know, there's something to this.
Yeah.
So from there, we went back. My mom was like, you guys should do something. We made this little flyer, and like to this day, it's awesome. I still have it in my house. Drew it on a piece of paper, and we ran it in one of the local newspapers in the neighborhood. We put my mom's phone number in it. We put our name, like we clean backyards or do whatever. And the phone started ringing.
Are you serious?
And we were like, holy smokes. People would call us, we'd go to their house, and they'd be like, yeah, can you, like, we had, like, you should have saw us. We were cutting people's grass with scissors. You know when they got to line up the edge of your yard? We're, like, laying on the ground with scissors, and we're, like, cutting it, and, like, it was perfect. Like, and Barry is really meticulous. Like, he's got skills. We would lay there, and he would cut it, and I'd be looking like, yeah, go to the left. The people that hired us, they'd be looking like, why y'all don't have, like, lawnmowers and stuff? We're like, what? Nah, we good. We like cut grass with scissors, literally. My mother was cracking up. We were making money too. Like
I can imagine.
My mother cracked up. She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a loan." And we were like, "No, we don't want a loan because you gotta pay loans back." We was like, "No, we don't want a loan."
Right.
She's like, "No, I'm gonna take you to the hardware store." She loaned us, I think, like $100 or $150, and we brought like a weed whacker, the electric one, and like a little lawnmower and like some hedge cutters. And some other stuff. And she was like, yeah, you know, you guys need the tools so you can like look professional. And we were like, whatever, like scissors, we got these for free. Like we did that and the phone just kept ringing. And then people would call us for stuff. They were like, can you like clean out our basement? And like we would show up to the house, look around, they'd be like, how? We had no clue. They'd be like, you know, I want to put all this out in the front yard. We'd be like, okay, $150. And they would be like, no problem, because if they would have hired someone else, it'd be like $200, $300, $400. And we didn't know. We were just kids. We were like, we'll do it. So we made $200. We made $100. And we'd be like, oh, this is great. We made $100. We only worked 2 hours. And this would be $100 each, not total. So we were really ecstatic.
Right.
And we would just be sitting in the yard after we finished. We'd be dirty, leaves all over us, and we'd just be sitting
counting
there.
your money in your head or physically and be like, yo.
But where it really got crazy for us is, and when I say crazy mentally, and we really started to understand how this
dynamics
it works, is one day I had a dentist appointment, and we had a job scheduled that day. And my mom was like, oh, you're going to the dentist. And I hate going to the dentist. And Barry said, don't worry, Waleed, you go to the dentist, I'll take care of the job. I was like, man, it's going to be a lot of work for one person. He's like, no, don't worry, I got it, right? Barry is clearly smarter than me, right? So I go to the dentist, I come back, and I think the job was finished by the time I got back. And I was like, we're sitting in the yard, and Barry gives me half the money. I'm like, no, you keep it. You did all the work. He was like, no, don't worry. We're partners. So he gave me half the money, and then I'm just like, but you did all the work, Barry. Like, it's not fair. He was like, no, don't worry. He hired one of our friends, had them do the entire job, and then he gave me half and he kept the other half. I was like, so how much you pay him? He's like, oh, I only paid him $10. And the guy was there for like 3 hours working, and I was like, so we can now make money without being there. So I was like, employees. And then from that day on, it was like, we were hooked. So it was just like, now how do we build a team?
But Barry, where are you? He needs you right now.
We're, build a team of good people so you can the thing was trust. Having people you can trust to go do the job similar or exactly how you would do it to deliver good service. And then you could be somewhere else. Because it's, it's like, it's a difference between having a business and being self-employed.
Yeah.
So how do you, and a lot of people are in that self-employed range. So how do we grow to make the transition to go from being self-employed to have a business? Because the business can make money while you're working on something else or doing something else.
Right, absolutely.
Or maybe on vacation, who knows, whatever your thing is.
Yeah, but the issue that I'm having is building a team. It's so hard to, just when you think you got the right team and then they just prove you like
So what do you see as the biggest challenge in finding the right team member?
Finding
I'd say the biggest challenge, but the challenges.
I really would the finding someone who absolutely loves what I do, or want to have the same passion.
That will never happen.
Same drive. Maybe that's what the problem.
No, see that's where we get caught up.
Yeah.
And I've been there. The one thing we have to separate, and I don't. In some cases, it's a lot of times it's ego, because we're looking for someone who's going to be as good as you think you are mentally. Because how we perceive ourselves being, an entrepreneur or running a business is different than how our clients or our team members perceive us. But if we're looking for that person who's going to do it exactly how you're going to do it, it ain't going to happen. But you want to find someone who's going to get it, it's close to whatever the standard is for your business to deliver that good, exceptional service.
Yeah, I'm not, business. I don't get into like the logistics of they have to do it this way.
Right.
Because everybody comprehends things differently. Everybody grasp things differently.
But the end product got to be the same, no matter who does it in your business.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's what I'm concerned about is the end product.
Got
and just getting that person that's going to get it done efficiently and get the same end result. Right. That's been the challenge.
Oh, that you can find, but to find someone who has the same passion and desire as you, they're not, because you're the owner. Unless they have some ownership or percentage in it. Like I would hear, like my dad would say, I would listen to him talk about the team members that worked with us. He'd be like, I don't understand why they can't work. And I've been guilty of saying it too. Why they don't work as hard as us, or why they don't get it right. That looks really good. Why they don't get it right to the level that he wanted done. And I'm like, they're never going to, or they don't work as hard as us. I'm like, they're never going to work as hard as you. You own the place. It doesn't work that way, because their interest is different than what our interest is. But you can find people who have the same passion for food or for customer service as you, and then figure out how do we empower them and then help them grow.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. They don't necessarily have to do what I do. Maybe they want to do what I do. Maybe they want to be a mentee until they go and do their own, and that's great too.
That's awesome.
I would love to help you and help you navigate through that process, but it's just not even getting a team. It's rough for me. Like I really, that's why I need help in just getting a team.
Mm-hmm. So do you like? How do you normally come across people that you're looking for to add to your team? Are you like putting up ads, or are they like referrals, or you just bump into people and they're like, oh, I'd like to, work with you. Like, I hear you do food. Like, how do you typically source them?
How I typically source them is I basically run into them and I see how they work and how they operate. And if their work ethic is something I feel is going to be, beneficial for the both of us, and I try to get them on my team, and then it never goes anywhere aside from that. It never gets beyond that.
So you typically approach them.
Yeah.
Then try the opposite. Put up like an ad, or put it out there. Put it on social, or that you're looking for a team member to do X, and they need to be able to they have to be proficient in these 3 or 4 or whatever areas.
Right.
And try it from that way versus you approaching them. And they're approaching you, because now if they're coming to you, they have a desire to be around you,
right,
or work in the same field as you, or provide the same type of service that they see you already doing.
Okay.
Like, you just never know.
Yeah, I haven't, like just recently, a young lady, I broached her and I said, listen, I'm looking for someone because I want to be able to be in 2 places.
Don't we all?
So
I want to be in 5.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I would like to be vending over here, and I would like to have you and set you up over here.
Right.
Go to the other place, break down, come back and pick you up, and be able to make money in 2 places.
Totally.
And she was all like, yeah. Then then yesterday she notified me, oh, I got this position with my grandmother.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, and I just was like, because she was so like, and I really, but I'll put it ad. I'll try that. I put it out there on social media, and I've never gotten anyone.
Just keep doing it. Like, put an ad up. Put an ad on Craigslist. Use ZipRecruiter. They have that thing you sign up, you get like so many days for free. Use it free. It's like, put it up, don't spend any money, get a bunch of leads from it, download the information, and then contact them. Like, email them, call them, and then you don't have to keep paying the membership for it. Like, hope ZipRecruiter's not watching.
We don't need that ZipRecruiter. We just joking.
I'm just saying, until we just use the free part until we get the business up, and then we'll buy the membership.
Subscribe, yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just try it. Like, if we keep doing the same thing and we're expecting different results, it's the true definition of insanity. Yeah, absolutely. Like, so if you're approaching people and it's not working, do something different. Like I told you, like I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing social, and now I got 4.5 people working with me doing social every day. Like, yeah,
and I think you're great at it. I think you're like your motivational videos are like really inspiring. It just keeps me like, okay, all right, girl, somebody out there knows exactly what you're going through, so just keep going.
Thank you. Like, but the funny part is like the team's probably laughing because we'll be in meetings. I'll be like, guys, we're not doing it. We're not doing enough. We got to do more. We're not doing a good job. But then we'll hear the feedback from the comments and yourself, which we really appreciate. But at the same time, like we want, and I'm really bad at this with my team, and I feel with all my teams where we'll have a win and like the team is like celebrating. I'll be like, yeah, but in my head, I'm like, we won, but now I'm thinking about it's over. Like we need to focus on the next thing. Like we're only as good. It's like a salesperson. You're only as good as your last sale. So I'm like, that sale is done. What do we do next? Like, so we won. Now I want to focus on the next 3 or 4 games. Like the season ain't over. So just because we won this one game, we're like, no, like, there's a game tomorrow night.
The championship.
Exactly. And then when the championship is over, they're celebrating. I'll be in the locker room with the trophy and be like, okay. What are we going to do in the off season to get ready for next season? And it's just like, it's how I'm programmed.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
how
just
I get it. I totally get it. Like I'm in the middle of, we're in the middle of this stop. It's like the construction we can't do anything. We like really in the middle of it. But I think this is a time for me to get refocused,
Right, absolutely.
regroup myself, really make sure that my game plan is tight when I go into this actual space. Tie up any loose ends, tweak anything that needs to be tweaking.
Awesome.
Putting my feelers out for vendor events because I still have to be out there.
Yeah, because you could be doing a lot of those events still while waiting for the space to open up.
Right now we're shooting my show, Talking with a Mouthful, right? So I find things to do in the interim that keeps me motivated to keep going.
Right. Now the space, is it going to be like just for like a commercial kitchen to do for the catering, or people will be able to walk into?
No, people will be able to come and get food. It's inside of the market space, so they'll be able to come and get food. I'll be able to produce for my catering. I'll be able
so you'll be able to kill two birds with one stone, which is great.
Yeah, 3, because I'll be filming from there as well.
That's even better. Yeah. And like content is so
key.
So important.
Content is king. They said cash is king. I think cash is probably bumped down to.
But it's what you said earlier, that authentic content is so important, and like the context of what in which you're delivering that content. But that is awesome, because then you get to increase your revenue stream, because you can have that walk-in business, and then there's the delivery and all that other components of it too.
Absolutely.
And then you have the catering part of it. And then do you have like partnerships with venues to say, like, oh, if someone's having an event, here's our top 3 caterers you should use, and you're one of the top 3, or you become the exclusive caterer.
Yeah, I'm definitely, that's one of the things on my list to do, because having a space to produce from is important. Right. So once I have that and have everything, then definitely,
Good.
Definitely have let people know,
Yeah, I know my wife, Jess, she has a good associate and friend who they have I don't want to say like an entertainment business, but they do catering and events. But one of the biggest things is they became the exclusive caterer for certain venues, and it helped them skyrocket because the venue has a lot going on there, and then they get to cater every single one of those events. And then when people come in, they're like, who did the food, who did the event? And then your name comes up, and then they start using them outside of that venue also too.
Yeah, that definitely going to work. That definitely works.
That's awesome. So I can't wait till it opens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I was a little bummed about the with this virus going around. I was a little bummed about it, but I looked at it as a way to refocus. Absolutely, and like people don't realize. Well, a lot of people don't. When things are bad is when you can look for the opportunities in it. And don't get me wrong, this time we're in now, it's bad for a lot of people. People are getting sick, people are dying. Absolutely. But the other part of it is, how do we look at it and say, how do we turn this into an opportunity? When I say turn into opportunity, not like some of these people doing like, I'm selling a bottle of $10, $20 or something like that. Right, or a bottle of hand sanitizer for $30. I'm like, bro, that's like 3 ounces. Like, yeah, don't worry, $30. But how do you look at it? Like, one of our team members, he's sending me a message, and he was sending me screenshots of the stock market. And he's like, look at all these stocks that are down. Now, the chances of all of these, and these are big firms, going out of business is very slim. Maybe they may file bankruptcy, depending on what's going on. There could be some impacts on that level for them. But the majority of them probably are not going to go out of business. But their stock is way down now. I think one team was showing me was like 23% off because of the virus situation now. So I'm like, okay, so is this a time when you buy that stock? Because when this passes, this moment, and that stock goes back up, you were able to buy that stock at a 23% discount. Right. Or in your case, it might be sad, but some people who might be competitors in your space, they don't make it through because of whatever they did. They weren't well capitalized, or they didn't have enough reserve to say, when the business slowed down in their restaurant or their catering business, that they could weather this storm for 2, 3, 6 months, whatever it might be. Your work not being done in your shop might have been a blessing, because you're not open and paying all those expenses right now. Right. And then when this passes, you're open, and then people are like, well, the place I used to go to around the corner or down the block is closed now. But this great lady, Danielle, just opened up a shop, and I see all her stuff on
social media and our food looks good, I think I'm going to give her a shot.
Right.
And then that becomes a stepping stone for your business,
Absolutely.
growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed and just keep looking for the opportunities, even though times are tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which one of your businesses that you love the most?
That's like asking which one of your children do you love the most.
There's some people that will answer that.
That is true. Like
I know some. I like Charlie because Bobby, he get on my nerves. They'll say
I
something.
probably have a friend or two. Like I like they probably be like, yeah, I like that kid better. But for me, it's they're equal, but they're different. There's different challenges at each one of them, which I love because it challenges me in a different way to deal with certain things. And then at the other business, there's certain things that are totally opposite that I have to deal with in another way. So in one business, I'm more dealing with our team members more than I deal with clients. And then at the other business, I deal more with the clients because it's a high touch. Like they're calling, they're making orders, and we have to interact with them. Or they want special things done. Where, at the security business, the client is like, listen, just send me people, do this, and then we check in with them. They call me when things go wrong, but they call when things go right too. But I can't say I like one more than the other because they both challenge me in different ways. And they're totally different. And people ask me all the time, it's like security and laundry, there's what was the intersection point, with those two businesses that made you want to get into either one of them? I was like, none. I just like being in business, and I happen to like both of those.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't give you choose one over the other. Nope, my kids are not going to get mad at me when they see this. I like them both the same.
Right. What do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Doing the same thing I'm doing now, but on a largest scale. But what I'd like to be doing more of is not just building my own businesses, but I want to build businesses more with other people. So when you talk about that $1 million before, if you had $1 million right now, what would you do? So not just giving these micro loans to say, here's the money, go do what you want to do, but how do we build these relationships between businesses? And I'm a big proponent of small businesses working together. And I think we totally miss that in our communities and in other communities also. But we always look at another business as competition when they're not. Right now at the Soapbox, we're going through this thing. There's another laundromat about to open across the street from us, directly across the street. We open our door, we look at them. They open their door, they look at us. And everybody, we had a team member who left, and they were just like, yeah, your business is going to go totally down the drain once they're open. And I'm like, okay, respect. But if you have the mindset of scarcity, and I'm not saying be delusional. You need to understand, I'm not going to open up, an ice cream shop in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Right. That's delusional. But you need to understand the dynamics, of what's going on, and geographic pieces of it, and the economics. But if you operate from this mentality of scarcity, then you're always going to be thinking everybody around me is a competitor. But in actuality, the cafe at the corner is not a competitor. We're in two different businesses.
Absolutely.
Why aren't businesses working together to say, okay, wait a minute. You have people coming in here every day or whatever to buy coffee and bagels and whatever, and I got people dropping off their clothes. How can we work together? Because your customer base is the same as mine. Absolutely. How do we cross promote or we biz dev together? Right. And a lot of businesses, I don't see that happening on a small business level. But on a large business level, people don't realize how many joint ventures. And when I work in the security side of the business, I see a lot of the larger companies and corporations that we do work for. It'll be whatever the name is of this entity that we're doing the work for. And then we look at the fine print. It'll say a joint venture between this big firm and this big firm. And they came together so they could both tackle this project, do it well, make the money, and then go about their business. Right. I see it all the time. So I'm like, how do we do that on an ongoing basis? You open up your space and you have people coming in every day to eat. So I'm like, how can I get my business in front of your clients? And then how can I get your business in front of my clients? Absolutely. My clients eat.
Right. And my clients wash their clothes.
Right. So where does
how can we join forces?
And then, to look back at the team member that left that said, oh, you guys have somebody open up across the street. I'm like, still, that's different mindset. They're mostly in the self-service business. They want people to come in to wash their clothes. We're not doing that. We're doing it for you. We're showing up to your house. We'll pick it up. And even if they start doing pickup and delivery, or they start doing some of the same drop-off services we do, which they probably will, they're not going to be in the same exact buildings as us. They're not going to be knocking at my client's door. There are, just in Bed-Stuy alone, where we're based, there are 150,000 people who live in that neighborhood.
Absolutely.
So if 150,000 people all send their clothes out at the same time, let's be clear, my shop cannot do it all.
You can't. There's no way you can handle that kind of value.
Right.
And neither could they.
Your real competition is who's in the mirror. People will need to understand, when you're a business,
Absolutely.
That's your real competition. It's you. Because when you look in the mirror, whatever you're doing or not doing is what's limiting you, what's holding you back. It's not the guy across the street who has a bakery and you have a muffin shop. Yeah, you might think that, but if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and putting your business out there and producing a good product and treating people well,
they're gonna come back.
Right.
For the experience. Because you're selling an experience. You're
Right.
selling an experience.
Or figure out what's next. Like, just because we're based in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, doesn't mean I can't service people in Manhattan.
Right.
And maybe
or
I'm
Chelsea,
not.
or
Right.
know.
And maybe you need to look at your business from a different angle. Maybe I don't need to service people in Manhattan. Maybe I need to service businesses in Manhattan, because it becomes more bang for my buck, because I send somebody out, and instead of going to somebody's apartment, I go to a business and all their employees, right? They have 30 people. So I just got 30 people at one address versus going to one apartment and getting one person's stuff. That's how we look at it.
Look at it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all about mindset.
Yeah, you could pick up a business and get go to one business, they have 15 locations, and
Right.
they all wear uniform shirts.
I mean,
It could be Metro PCS with the
right.
whatever color shirt.
They gotta get clean.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And it's like the same thing is for you. Like, I'm catering, I'm just using this as an example, like different events, like a wedding or a birthday or, I don't know, a dinner party.
baby shower, right?
A baby shower. But then you say, wait a minute, that's all good. Like, it's got us to here. But maybe I should start catering corporate events. Because I noticed these type of businesses have these monthly events for all their employees.
Lunches.
Right. So how do this one particular, like you read some article online or you see it on their social and they're like, oh yeah, these are our employee appreciation days and we do it every month or every other month. And you're like, okay, so how do I get in contact with them so I can become one of the caterers who produce meals for them for these monthly or bi-monthly events?
And they're one of your clients.
There you go. Like, so if we're working together, I'm like, hey, I'm doing their uniforms, they do this. And you'd be like, hey, give me some of your literature or whatever. Or how about this? Get out my head. I do deliveries on these days. Give me some of your cupcakes in a jar or, a cake or something, and I'm going to deliver it. And it's going to have a thank you note on it saying we appreciate your business. And the cake was made by Danielle. And then they're like, eat it, it's good. Who's this? I need to call this lady. Or we need to get these cakes and we've done it before. And like we gave out cookies to all of our clients. And right away, it was, she's right on Ralph Avenue, Sophia and Grace. She has the cookie shop.
Yeah.
And when we did it, we were like, listen, she was like, oh,
they have Stike Spin in
their
business. Because when I went in there, I was like, oh, yeah.
They have it too. And when we first did it, I think we've done it like 2 or 3 times. And she made the labels, she packaged it, she did an awesome job. And she even made the cookie pink so it matched our logo. And she was like, yeah, we're going to put your logo on it. And I was like, no, I want to put your name all over it. Like our customer knows they're getting it from us because we're putting it with their order when we deliver it. But the purpose of us to work together. So now they see your business. Like they know this cookie came from you. You made it. It was handmade.
Right.
So that's my thing. We need to work. Businesses need to work together.
Yeah.
And grow together.
That's the only way we're going to survive out here.
Absolutely.
Especially during this virus.
Just get a lot of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm all for it. I love to see other people win. I love to, that's part of the process is no matter where you are in your journey, you can always help somebody.
Absolutely. And see, you just said the key thing is you like to see other people win. And that's huge. Most people like to see other people lose, but you realize that someone else's winning doesn't take away from your wins.
It doesn't.
But a lot of people don't realize that. They think if somebody else is doing good, it's taking away from them because that's the different mindset. Like they have a scarcity mindset versus there's a lot out here. Like the government prints money. Like we will not run out of money because for them, their mindset, it's an abundance. I can print it. We need more money, just print it. Lower interest rates. We'll do this, blah, 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 blah. But if we have that same mindset, if you have it like, I do my business the right way. I treat people the right way. I interact with people the right way. I like to see other people win. What you're doing will print you money. And, speaking in a metaphorical sense, it will produce whatever you want, whatever the fruits you want from it, it will produce because you're not having that mindset. Like, I need John to lose so I can win. Like, now if you're playing a sporting event, that's a little different. But I don't need the guy around the corner to go out of business for me to win because who's to say his clients are going to come to me anyway? They might go to the guy 5 blocks over.
Right.
So, yeah, that's good. The fact that you want to see other people win, and if more people celebrated or encourage other people's wins, we would all be in a lot better place. Yeah, we wouldn't have those negative comments on Instagram and social media where people just got to spend their time writing hate versus leaving support. Like, how hard is it to hit the heart emoji versus typing something like, "Oh, this is whack," or "You're ugly"? Like,
stupid stuff like that. I remember somebody made like a negative comment on like something I posted on YouTube, and I was just like, whatever. Like, you have to grow tough skin, like especially in being an entrepreneur. Yeah,
like I agree with you. You gotta have a thick skin, but at the same time, like I'm just like have a bleeding heart for them. Like I feel sorry for them because it's the same thing I said. I could go hit the comment button and press one emoji, a happy, like a heart or a smiley face, and then hit send. Or I could hit the comment and then I type, "Oh, this is ugly," or like your video is horrible. It took more energy for me to type all that and think of that and put the negativity out there than it was for me to be like, "Oh, this is nice." So I feel sorry for that person.
Absolutely.
Because what's really going, first of all, this person doesn't even know you. Like they're on the other side, wherever the internet is, like they're on the other side of the internet on this device or computer. And they're like, "This is ugly." Wait a minute. Like they didn't see you in the street. We don't know. There's no relationship. It's like when you say total, like you see somebody in the street, you're like total stranger. Yeah. But this is like somebody needs to come up with another word. This is beyond total stranger because this person can be on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And they're on the other end of this device and they leave a negative comment. Yeah. So what's going on with your life that you would need to do that?
Yeah, and then it's like then they will go back and forth with you all day long. And you're like, "Oh, come on, man."
And then it's like I'm leaving a comment like people leave negative reviews for our business, and I'll be like, "Thanks for sharing that experience. Sorry it went that way. What could we do better?"
Right.
Tell me what we did wrong, and I'll fix it for you now, and then I'll fix it so it doesn't happen to anybody else. And when people do it, I respect that they, especially for the business, that they left the comment, and I appreciate it. But where I get stuck is when we respond, and then they don't respond back.
Yeah.
Because in a small business, I have never, ever, 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 ever in my life gone online and left a negative review for a business. Because if I take the energy to put a negative review, if I ever do it, and I'm not going to say I won't ever, it might happen, but I want to go to the business first and say, "This was my experience." Because I want you to fix it. And when I want you to fix it, it might be for a little selfish reason in the beginning because I had this bad experience and I'm pissed. I spent my money and you gave me X and I'm not happy with X. So fix this. Like, you're going to give me my money back? Are you going to fix it? Like, what are you going to do? Versus I just go online and leave a negative review. the person who owns the business or manager or whoever, they might not even know about this issue going on because the person they hired and trusted who's in the front just might not be a good fit for their business.
Absolutely.
And they don't know it. But when I tell them, they get the opportunity to fix it, and then it doesn't happen going forward.
Absolutely.
To affect any other customers or clients that they have.
And it's funny that you said that just the other day I had a bad experience with a business, and I actually inboxed them. I DM'd them on Instagram. I didn't leave a bad review, but the review, I mean, it was a fellow food business, and I was really highly just disappointed. Like, and I was like, yo, this is not acceptable. And and they got back to me, and they were willing to rectify it. They say, if you ever want to come back, just show me this flyer basically they send me a coupon and come back and try something for free.
Which is good.
Right, which is good. And it's like, but I try not to leave any business if my experience is negative and I reach out to them and the business doesn't get back to me, then I just leave it at that.
Right. Like I'll spend my money somewhere else because the money we spend is our voice. That's Absolutely. The power. Right. But at the same when somebody makes a mistake, you tell them because you want them to get it right. You said it earlier, you want to see them win. So if I want to see this business win, I'm going to tell them.
You want to see them win.
This is the mistake you made. Behind closed doors, DM or email directly to whoever's in charge versus putting them on blast on, Google reviews or Yelp or whoever. Yeah. And I'm not saying people shouldn't leave bad reviews. Everybody has their preference. But for me, if I'm spending my money at this business, I'm choosing to give my money to them for numerous reasons. Like, there's one Middle Eastern restaurant I eat at. Not as much as I used to. But one of the conversations Jess and I had, we were, what's for dinner tonight? Because unfortunately we eat out way too much because of the time factor.
Yeah, you guys spend a lot of time on your businesses. So it's hard to just go home and make a meal. It's hard.
It's like I'm almost embarrassed. Like, I come home, like, if we do cook something, like, the last thing that happens is the dishes. And, like, it'll be the next day, the day after, and I'm just like, oh, jeez, I gotta do the dishes. But you eat out, and then you look at another in the kitchen, you're like, the trash can is full of, like, takeout containers and all this stuff. I'm just like, this is crazy. But it's comes with what we do. Like, time is this one thing that we're always, like, we're fighting for more time. But when we do eat out, and we're like, okay, obviously we want to eat something that's good and somewhat nutritious, more nutritious than anything. I'll look at, and I'll say he's a friend because we've been going there for so long. We'll be like, okay, what are we going to eat? Are we going to go to this place or are we going to this place? And I'm like, well, if we go to this place versus, I go to Omar's, who has the Middle Eastern restaurant. I was like, I'd rather spend my money there. Not to say that the other options aren't as good, but, like, I know him. I know his two kids. I've seen his kids grow up. I know his wife. So I'm like, if I'm going to give my money, I want to give it to where I know it's going. Like, I'm going to pay for his kids to go to college. I eat there that much. Like, I'm contributing to their college fund. It's no question about it. And, like, it doesn't bother me. And then when I go in, like, if there's something wrong and I express it to him or his team, they correct it. And, thank goodness, I've never had any issues. I think maybe something with an order, and they fixed it right away. But it's I'd rather go to him and explain it to him, or the owner, the manager, if they're receptive of it, then just go online and just leave some anonymous review and say, 1 star. I wish I could give this place less than 1 star. You see those. Just tell them what they're doing wrong so they can get it right.
Absolutely.
That's my whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, this conversation has been very enlightening. I love what you do.
Thank you so much.
I know that when you broach the subject of helping other entrepreneurs, I already knew that already, because when you said the micro lending, you get it. Right. You're one of the entrepreneurs that get it. I definitely hope that I can continue to help other entrepreneurs, because we all need each other. We all share the common struggle. We all share the common triumphs, that little one order, that huge order. That's it. We can sit here and we celebrate. That's it. Them both. Yep. Equally. So it's like the dry moments. We get through those. We navigate through those. We all have those commonalities.
Absolutely.
And I'm all for helping other entrepreneurs. I want to see everybody win. So I am Brooklyn Chef Danielle. This is
Waleed Coat.
And check him out on Instagram. You gotta see his videos. Like he's like the Black Gary V. That's what mine. He's like he downplays himself, but he's really that good, and he keeps myself motivated because we all get down a little dumps.
Yeah, like me too.
Yeah, we get down and we go where we need to go to get that energy and get motivated, and we go there. And I'm glad that I'll be able to go to your page and say, let me check out what I missed. Let me see what I missed. I haven't seen them in a minute. And
Thank you so much.
The algorithm, we're not going to even talk about that because sometimes you don't see everything, but I know that I can go to your page and I know I'm going to see something that's truly going to be inspiring to me.
So no pressure on me, but
no, not even.
We'll keep working on it.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So I am Brooklyn Chef Danielle.
I'm Waleed Coat.
And this has been Talking with the Mouthful in Brooklyn, and we survived the virus. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for more episodes on YouTube, and I will be posting his social media information below. You will get to follow him. You have to follow him because I follow him. I'm encouraging you to follow him too because he's one to follow.